Gerard Williams Show. Coming to you live. With the best in talk radio.
Hey, my friends. This is T. Gerard Williams of the T. Gerard Williams Show, your host and your executive producer. Listen, my friends, I have got a treat for you today. I am a good friend, Chris Mason, coming to us today from California. And Chris is the author of a series of books, and I wanted him to share with you how he started, how he came up with the concept, and then whatever information that Chris has on his heart. So my first question is, Chris, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. Well, Chris, listen, my audience has been waiting. I've been baiting them with some little Facebook announcements that we were going to be doing this interview. So I've been baiting them with some of your information. So they're ready for you. I've already instructed them to go ahead and get pencil and paper ready so they can information all the information that you're going to give them. And so, Chris, with that, I say to you, talk to my audience and share with them about you.
Okay, well, my favorite quote is necessity is the mother of invention, and that is actually how the book series started. When my daughter was in 6th grade, she's now a junior in college, but when she was in 6th grade, we had to transfer her from a regular brick-and-mortar school to an online charter school due to bullying reasons. I don't know how many of your listeners have to deal with that problem, but when I transferred her over on the end of the first week, I was felt like I'd been thrown in the deep end of the pool, and I contacted all 6 of her teachers, and I got back 6 links. 3 of them were based for teachers, and only 3 could be used by parents, and I thought that's just sad. And then I started basically writing a list on my wall near my computer of websites that were useful to me, and then my 2 other children joined her. And then one day I was in a Starbucks on a Saturday sitting there watching 8 parents all gathered around a table with a math book trying to solve a math problem, and I went, I have been there. And then I turned that list into a book. So that's how it formed. And at the exact same time, we had to get rid of cable due to financial reasons. And at the exact same time, my mother had decided to come up with Mason Day, which was like a Secret Santa Day in the middle of the year to get my kids to understand that you did not need to spend a fortune. So that is how my other books were born, because they still wanted TV, and they, had to make it themselves. And so I thought, what can I make? Because I don't have artistic skills like my daughters, and I can't build things like my son, but I could research. So, I think for the first Mason Day, I gave my son the X-Men web series because he was really into the X-Men. I just made him a CD, and we were good to go. Okay. So now, recently, I have had a hard time finding work. An Entrepreneur in the Box was born, because right now nobody will really hire me due to my disability or my age, even though I do have a master's in I have a master's in education and a bachelor's in psychology. But so for that reason, Entrepreneur was born, and I kind of took the author route, obviously. But the book has, 20 places to write a book, or places to be a freelance writer, as well as a place to crowdfund that isn't even really listed online Publishizer. For those of your audience who would say want to try to hit Random House, you can try to submit your ideas to them, and if they like it, you can crowdfund to try to make the big leagues. But some people aren't into writing, so maybe you're an artist. I have some places where You could sell your art. Some of them your audience probably knows, like Cafe Press, but others like Zazzle. Zazzle makes skateboards and shoes. Cafe Press doesn't make shoes. And say that's not even your thing. Say you want to go the music route. There's TuneCore, which is the equivalent of Smashwords. They'll distribute. You give them your music, they will distribute it to Spotify and to iTunes and do all of that for you. And then every time somebody downloads one, you get your percentage of your cut. But say we keep the fan moving, because I just updated to bring in the new year. I just updated Entrepreneur, and I added a section for politics. So say you want to know where Donald Trump stands on an issue. God forbid you vote for him, but maybe you're a Republican and you like him. Go do the ontheissues.com, or say you really want to see where their money comes from. Then you could go to opensecrets.org, or even how factually accurate a statement is they made. You may want to go to a PolitiFact. Or maybe you want to start your own petition. I have 3, from moveon.org to iPetitions, and it can be anywhere from video games to I want to stop the killing in Zavar. Okay, so and in Entrepreneur, I have an entire section on crowdfunding, because I understand I personally am about ready to start a crowdfunding campaign so that my wife and I can maybe have, I don't know, a house or a mobile home, and because we live in our truck, literally. Even when we're not on the road, we live, in our truck. And I've learned that you can pretty much crowdfund, and I do mean anything. From a TV show, there's a website that does TV shows to things for your children's school. There's a place where you want your children's school to have a new computer lab. You can set that up. To adult entertainment, and I kid you not. To, things like cosmetic surgery, once again, kid you not. To things more on my end where you got an accident and you need medical bills. They have that. But if that's not enough, say we're going to go back to Entrepreneur, you can even sell your body. And no, I don't mean in the adult way. I mean, you want to help out. You want to help out and get a clinical trial, they'll pay you money. You're going to help somebody who has diabetes, or if you're a man or a woman and you decide that your reproductive things. Right now in California, where I live, they'll pay you $40 for plasma. And just for the record, that's $20 an hour. It would take 2 hours for one shot of plasma, and you can do it 4 times a month. So at $40, you do the math. That would be, $20 an hour. So I did add that as well, and yes, because I am, as I believe we spoke before, I am officially been declared homeless according to the Social Security Administration since I live in a truck and have no home. I even put a place for homeless resources. So should any of your fellow listeners be facing that issue, I have, homeless shelters and food banks, and I even have a website that will help you with your dog. If you have a furry friend, either cat or dog, they will help make sure that it gets veterinary needs and it can stay with you. So I'm pretty much covered. Now, Entrepreneur is just one book, and I have lots of other books in the series, but since I know that a lot of people are like me and have been hitting bumps in the road, I'm pretty sure it suits them. And yes, I even have really, if you want really bizarre, I have things like Earth Share and Land Share. If you're a farmer, I know, whether you're a gardener or an actual farmer, if you need land, there are people willing to let you use the land for a cut of your veggies. And last but not least, recently in my most recent update, I added an entire new section on the Share economy. I know that Uber and Airbnb and all that's really big, okay? And because I know it's really big, there's a lot more than just Uber and B&B. But let's take Uber. Let's say, for example, that you know that you do not want to ride Uber because you're aware of the new California law that will make you lose your insurance should you ever drove for Uber. I have a website called MetroMile where you can indeed get insurance through them, and they will cover you for as long as you drive. But say that you don't want to use your car because you don't want to lose the insurance. I have a website in there that will rent you a car just for the share economy. You rent it for as long as you want to use it, and then you drop it back. And I'm not going to give you that website in case your listeners are using. You can buy the book. But I will tell you that there are places in the book to rent a bike that you can share your veggies. There's a place to share your leftovers. Kid you not. There's a place to check out to sell food through your house. I mean, say you're a great cook and you make the best brownies on the world. Okay, you can put your brownies up for sale, and people come to your house, and all they do is bring their cash and Tupperware. Kid you not.
That sounds good.
There is even places where you can split the cost of a meeting room. So say, I really want to do this presentation. How about you pay for half, I pay for half, we share the same venue, saves us money. There's even places where you can do dog vacations. That's right. Say you want to make a little extra money and be a dog babysitter. Kid you not. So I pretty much have covered the gambit, at least on the entrepreneurial bent. And I will give, there's even a complete directory, because I know I mentioned veggies and fruit earlier, where if you are a vendor, you can find out where your local farmers market will be all the way across the United States. I'm sorry, I do not normally leave the United States. I did briefly. If you're in Germany, as I said, I try to reach because I know I go through Smashwords, which is worldwide. I do know of an app in Germany that lets you, and this is only in Germany, that lets you either put out your nightly services for that nightly entertainment, or that you can find nightly entertainment through this app. But that's in Germany only. Not that I'm into that sort of thing, but I'm very thorough. Or as my wife puts it, I do very deep research. If it's a rock, I probably can find what's under it. If it's a needle, I know exactly which haystack it's in. So, and all my books, including Entrepreneur, have my email. So should anybody have any questions, should the link not work, I can help you out. Or should the link decide not to work, but it did work at one time, I can give you a plan B.
Sounds good. Okay, now that sounds like well, good. Sorry, I mean to stop on that.
That was just one of my mini books, but I didn't know if there was anything in particular. We have to point out there is a website, kid you not, where you can make your own wallpaper or fabric. Yes, that's right. You want to sell your own custom-made fabric? There's a website for you. Now, I don't know if I could possibly get any more unique than that, but I mean,
I think you covered it pretty well, my brother.
Yeah, there's a crowdfunding source for helping third world countries. That's specifically just for if you want to help flood victims in Haiti. They'll help you out. So, and I've listed all of it. And now
like
some
it
places
sounds like a very top-tier book.
Well, and I will be honest, most of my books have a rating system. Entrepreneur does not, because I haven't been to half of them, and I didn't see a point. Now, if I have been there, it like Smashwords or BookBaby and I know those are all writing, but that's because that's what I am, I will rate it. But if it doesn't have a rating, as most of the crowdfunding just did not have, I probably didn't rate it. But almost everything in my books has either a not rated or a 1 through 5 discs, or iPhones. If you're doing App Store in a box, I use a little iPhone. Well, not technically an iPhone, but it's supposed to be a smartphone because I don't want Apple to sue me.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, listen, Chris, how can my listeners get your book? Where can they get a copy of it at?
Okay. My book is available at all major retailers. That includes iTunes, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, Kobo. And if you're outside the country, I have tutored at both Wheelers in New Zealand and East Central in Malaysia. And just for tutor alone, and this is not going to really lose me money very much, if you are in the California area, you can check out Tutor in a Box, the San Diego Public Library. But otherwise, all my other books can be bought. And Record Store in the Box is and always will be free. So if you do nothing else, pick up a copy and use my email to play me backgammon on Facebook through one of the many backgammon apps or Song Pop. I'm an addict, and you can use my email to look me up.
Okay. All right. That sounds great. And just a quick question. What's the price range on the Entrepreneur in a Box?
It's $2.99. It's cheaper than, it's about a cup of coffee, pretty much. I mean, my most expensive book is Tutor, and that's $3.99. So all my books all my books are $2.99 with the exception of Tutor, which is $3.99, and Production Studio is $1 because just like an entrepreneur, I put a lot of things in there that I didn't really use because I don't need that much, and it's a lot bigger than I thought, but because I couldn't give you a lot of information from a user standpoint, a lot of resources, I only charged $1 for that because that was basically to let you keep everything that was mentioned in all the other 7 books. So Production Studio has how to keep the movies, the music, and how to make websites and all that stuff. If it can be made, it's in there.
Sounds good. All right. Well, Chris, let me just stop here and just say, do you have any final thoughts for the audience before we release?
Well, as I said, my only final thought is that if you do nothing else, if your listeners decide to do absolutely nothing else, pick up a copy of Record Store and enjoy it and maybe talk to me via a game. And if there is something that you think is just awesome, I forget the businessman that I was listening to. I listened to a lot of entrepreneurial guides, and the guy was talking about the purple cow is the idea that is different than the herd. If there is a website that your listeners just think is the most awesome thing since sliced bread, let me know, because I'm not everywhere, and I cannot be everywhere 24/7. I update all my books. I think, with the exception of Bookstore, every book has been updated twice since its publication. Give me a holler, and if I include the link, I'll put your name in there. If you want.
All right.
I mean, I'm willing
that
to give you credit.
Good, then.
But and by the way, in the box series, if you'll notice, it's the best of. So websites like Quora for your listeners is a great place to go to get questions answered. Both Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama have actually used it on purpose to answer questions. Like for him, it was the Iran deal. You know, he answered 23 questions in a row on that. The Quora is where you go to get a question answered. It did not make a cut because they do not really list the questions in groups. They just kind of throw it out there like a feed, and if you catch it, you catch it, and if you don't, you don't. So it's the best of. So once again, if there's a reason you think a book should or a resource should be listed, just tell me and convince me.
Sounds like a plan. All right then, Chris. Thank you for being on the show today. And having said that, boys and girls, this is T. Gerard Williams of the T. Gerard Williams Show. And as always, I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye now.
Take care.
The T. Gerard Williams Show. Coming to you live. With the best in talk radio. Get ready, get ready. The heartbeat of talk radio is the T. Gerard Williams Show. If you're talking about it, it's because we're talking about it.